Good afternoon and welcome to BJC Mitzvah Day number 201, part 2. Use Sefer HaChinuch, Mitzvah that keeps your soul in its way, the ervah of one's daughter-in-law, and here we go. Among the laws of the mitzvah is that which the sages of blessed memory prohibited as a safeguard to this prohibition of cohabiting with one's daughter-in-law, namely the prohibited one's son's daughter-in-law, along with one's son's daughter-in-law, and so forth down the family tree until the end of time. The sages also prohibited the daughter-in-law of one's daughter alone, but not any subsequent generations of daughter-in-laws descending from one's daughter. The rationale for the discrepancy between the law governing the daughters-in-law of the son's descendants and those of the daughter's descendants is similar to that which we said above in Mitzvah 90 in explanation of a similar discrepancy. Since the prohibition appears in Scripture in the context of a daughter-in-law, who by definition is one's son's wife, the sages enacted a prohibition against marrying all daughters-in-law of the son's offspring. But on the other hand, they enacted a prohibition against the daughter-in-law of one's daughter alone and not against daughter-in-laws of the daughter's offspring, as this suffices for us to safeguard against the biblical prohibition. These relationships that the sages prohibited are called shnios, secondary arayas. This prohibition applies in every location and in all times. As far as one who transgressed this prohibition and cohabited with his daughter-in-law, God forbid, the law is the following. If he did so intentionally and there are witnesses to his transgression and there was a prior warning, then he is put to death by skila stoning. And if he transgressed intentionally but there are no witnesses, then he incurs karis, again, excision, which could be losing a share in the world to come, which could be dying young, God forbid, under 60, or it could be, God forbid, losing a child in one's lifetime. If he transgressed unintentionally, he must bring a fixed chatas offering, sin offering. And if he transgresses one of the shnios prohibitions associated with this mitzvah and unintentionally cohabits with the daughter-in-law of his son or of his son's son, and so on, down the line of his male progeny until the end of time, or he cohabits with the daughter-in-law of his daughter, Beis Din administers malchus mardos, lashes of discipline to him. Let me just go over this one part, okay? He says again, unintentionally. Interesting. I would have thought that's intentionally, but okay. He says even unintentionally, you get that malchus. Interesting. Okay. I'd like to see if that's true. I have to get back to you guys on that. I want to do a little research on that. Thanks for listening to Sponsor Future Mitzvah 36 400 for the Gold. Have a good Shabbos. We'll see you hopefully Motzi Shabbos.